This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.
Welcome to the Race in Action today, as we are at a very special place here in Southington, Connecticut, at Barnes Museum. And boy, let me tell you, we're here for the auto show, but we're going to take a glimpse at this absolutely beautiful colonial home, and this museum is just something special, believe me. Yes, we have Jerry Chase and his lovely wife Joyce in this absolutely gorgeous car, 1909 Pope Hartford Model S Touring, right, Jer?
That's right. That's the car.
Now tell me about this car. What's the deal with it?
Well, it originally, naturally, was made by Pope Hartford in Hartford, Connecticut. Its early life was in Connecticut. It was taken to California, and one of the premier car collectors in the world, Bill Harrah, owned the car. And it was one of his favorite cars. He owned over 400 antique cars. When Bill passed, they auctioned off a great many of them. The rest of the collection is still in Reno. But this car came back to Connecticut, and that's when I acquired it.
Wow, it was like hitting the lottery, right?
It was like hitting the lottery. It means a lot to me because my dad almost owned a Pope Hartford when he was a lot younger, and we went to buy one day, and he didn't get it, but so Pope was always special to me, you know. So when I'm driving it, he's in the back seat.
Yeah, that's I'll tell you, that's a great memory to have. And Joyce,
yes,
you got an award here for how you dress.
I know we did. We enjoy it very much. We don't dress that often, but for special events as this, we certainly would.
I understand this is a very great place, huh, Jared?
It is. The Barnes Company, the Barnes family is a very wonderful family here to Southington, and quite a philanthropist. And so with this beautiful car, the 1912 Pope Hartford, we thought we'd bring over our baby, the 1909, so we think that they would have company. And
Absolutely.
Here we are.
I agree. I love these cars. I'll tell you, Jerry, this car is just gorgeous, and it drives well too, right?
It does. A week from today, I will be going on what they call the New England Brass and Gas Tour, which is in Massachusetts. We will travel approximately 500 to 600 miles in this car, and we'll go through Connecticut, Mass, probably Vermont, and we go out every day, about 125 miles every day.
Wow. Are you the co-pilot?
Yes, I am.
Without her, I'm sunk.
Uh-oh. Wow. I'll tell you, I just can't tell you how much I enjoy looking at this car. It is just beautiful, and you got a little more hardware here. Tell me about that.
Well, they guess they voted me best of show, you know, but it's just a joy to come out with it. First of all, we drove, like I said, from Middletown this morning with it, and I'll drive back home shortly with it. And it's a good running car. They're popular. They were considered one of the premier automobiles of their day, as you can see with the Barnes car. And we just love doing it. I have a lot of other cars, but this has got to be one of my favorites.
Now tell me something, Joyce. Do you ever drive this car?
No, I haven't. It's kind of a bear for, I think, a woman to drive, but I certainly wouldn't not recommend it. We have many women in our car group, the Horses Carriage Club, that do drive their own cars.
Well, I know the event coming up, you're going to bring that Columbia, and boy, am I anxious to see that.
Yes, next week is the Klingberg home, which I've been involved with for a long time, and I'll bring one of my cars over there, but we're bringing a 1890-something Columbia Electric, and this thing is running, and I'll be bringing that down. It'll be the centerpiece of the show, so we'll have the oldest known Lozier, which was made in New York, at that show, and we'll be having 40-plus brass era cars. So,
well, let me tell you, you got to give me this disease, because I'll tell you, I love owning one of these cars.
Yeah. Well, you've been around it a long time, you know. Pope, by the way, raced years ago, and they called them Portolas.
Okay.
They looked a lot like that, and they got the name for the race in Portola, California.
Wow, isn't that special?
Yep, they're quite the cars, you know.
Well, I know you're busy here. I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you for spending time with us, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. And you too, Joyce.
Oh, yes.
Are we going to be dressed up next week?
Hopefully.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank
it was
you.
just wonderful
It's been an
to see
honor.
you again.
It's an honor.
Yes, we have Ray Therio with this absolutely gorgeous 1932 Lincoln. I have never seen one like this, Ray. Tell me about this car.
Well, this is a 1932 Lincoln KB LeBaron convertible roadster, of which they built 112, and I know of 15 that are still around. There may be a few more stashed away someplace, but this particular car was the first of this body style. These cars were designed by LeBaron, who was a custom bodybuilder. They submitted drawings to Lincoln. Lincoln would have the drawings available at the dealership. You would walk in there, you look at the drawings, I like that car, you'd order it, they would build it to you. The factory would send the complete chassis with all the running gear, the front and rear fenders, running boards, and the cowl. And the rest of the body was built at the LeBaron factory.
I mean, this couldn't have been a cheap car.
No, the car weighs about 5,700 pounds. That's about what it costs.
Wow. Yeah, wow. But I'll tell you, it is gorgeous. I mean, this color, too. Was that the original color?
Yes, it is. It originally had a tan top and red wheels, but I didn't like the red wheels, so I painted them blue, and it got a blue top.
Tell me how'd you find this car?
I wanted one for years, probably close to 30 years, but I could never come up with the money to buy one. And this one was for sale by a big classic car dealer out in Washington State. And it was for sale or trade. So I offered him 3 of my prize cars, and at first he said no. And then he thought about it and he said yes. And he sent a truck to Connecticut with the car in it. I met him at the truck stop over here in Southington. I took 2 over there. We took my 2 out, put them in a trailer, took this home, and went back, got the 3rd one. And that was it. I never spoke to him again, and he never spoke to me. And I've had it for about 5 years now. And
Now, where is home for you?
Southington, right here.
Southington. Oh, your hometown.
Yeah, homeboy.
Yeah, this museum is special too, isn't it?
Yes, it is to the community and to myself. I've been here many times helping them with car shows and other things. I've been in the parade with them a couple of times at Apple Harvest Festival in October. And if I can help them out, I'm ready.
Well, the name Angelo's has to mean something to you if you live in Southington.
Yeah, well, it means something if you're foundation people. I know that. I don't know if you're related to them.
We got a lot of relatives here.
Yeah.
J&M Tire.
Yeah, oh, really?
They're my
okay.
relatives.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, it's a strong Italian community.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot of vowels here, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Well, Ray, what kind of motor is in this car? Is this? I don't even know.
It's a V12.
Wow, V12.
It's a 448 cubic inch, and it's what they call a fork and blade engine, where the conventional car engines have this connecting rods are side by side on a crankshaft, where this has one that straddles the other, and this is the forked blade, and this is the rod. I should say this is the fork and this is the blade, and they used it only in 1932 and 33. And then they discontinued it, but it was used prior to that.
Boy, I'd hate to have to hunt down parts for this thing.
I'm a Lincoln parts vendor, so if I have
so you got the cure. You got the cure.
Right. I have a lot of stuff stashed away, and if I need something, if I don't have it, I can probably find someone that does.
Okay. Well, very good, Ray. We want to thank you for spending time with us.
Yep.
I know this car is gorgeous, and I know we're going to see you on down the road.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for all your help.
And
beautiful job. Oh, yeah. Yes, we have Dennis Brulin, this beautiful Indian. Looks like it's the original 1933 Ford. Tell me about this bike, Dennis.
Well, I found this bike looking for parts for my other Indian. I have a 1933 Indian Chief also that's restored. But I found this searching for parts, so I thought I'd have one restored and one unrestored.
Wow, I'll tell you, they're getting tougher and tougher to find, right?
Yes, there's not many around, and 33 was the lowest production year for Indian. So they only built about 1,600 bikes for the whole year.
Now, where do you call home, Dennis?
Southington, Connecticut.
Oh, you're a hometown guy, huh?
Actually, Plantsville, yep.
Yep. Now, do you drive this a lot?
I'm breaking it in. The motor's fresh, just been done.
Oh, yeah.
So I try to put 8 or 10 miles on it every couple of days to break it in nice and easy.
Now, do you get up to Springfield often? Do they have that show every year up there still?
The invitation's on my coffee table at home, and I'll be up there in July for Indian
I know,
Day.
we've been there too. I am just at awe when I go there.
I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. One of these days I got to find one of these bikes, I'll tell you. They're just gorgeous.
They're out there. You keep looking.
Now, four cylinders, they're rare, aren't they?
Yeah, they built very few fours. Most of the fours went to the police departments.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's probably why some of them survived, because back in the day, the policemen got to take their bikes home with them when they retired. So I think that accounts for why there's some of them still around.
That's why they're still here.
Yep.
Now, tell me about your other bike. It's a 1933 Chief.
It's a Chief, the V-twin version of this.
Yeah.
And that's been restored, and I take that out occasionally and run that around too.
So that's not a trailer queen.
No, they're all riders.
They're all riders.
Yep.
Well, I hope to see you at Kleinburg next week, and maybe we'll get to go up to that Springfield event too, huh?
Okay, hope to see you there.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. You were great.
Thank you.
Thanks. We got a chance to see Dennis start up and boy, let me tell you, he certainly has a great time with his bike. And now for our next segment, we're going to talk to Marie Secundo about this absolutely gorgeous museum here at the Barnes Museum. Boy, let me tell you, it is special. Yes, we have Marie Secundo with us with the Barnes Museum. And boy, let me tell you, this place is gorgeous. Tell me about this place, Marie.
Well, this home belonged to 3 generations of one family, which is quite unusual for any house that's this old. It was built in 1836, and it was last owned by Bradley Barnes, who was the grandson of the original owner. Bradley took over the house and renovated it. He brought in the electricity and plumbing and heating that we see today. The lighting is all 100 years old. Those renovations were done in 1910.
Wow.
And the home is just filled with all of their family items. I like to call the family pack rats. They saved everything. So not only do we have all their clothing items, furnishings, carpeting, we also have 52 family diaries, and those have been very instrumental in helping us to documentate things here in the house, which is what we do in this house, what is taking so long. After 40 years of documentation, we are still in that process. The museum was willed by Bradley to the town of Southington in 1973 when he was 90 years old.
Wow.
Unfortunately, he and his wife never had children. So he made the decision to give the house to the town of Southington, specifically to be used as a historical library and museum. It's an excellent source of research here in the museum. We get a lot of people that come in just for that purpose alone. There are 5 fireplaces, there's 17 rooms. And when visitors come here, we like to create the illusion that the family is still in residence here. Wow. So nothing is under glass. We can go into every single room. Nothing is off limits. We only ask that, of course, that they not touch anything. But the house is a treasure trove of not only the artifacts, but the documentation as well.
Well, I have to say, looking online, I saw some interesting things about Civil War letters.
Oh, yes, exactly. We found in a shoebox in one of the closets a box full of letters. I opened the lid, and it was like, to my amazement, are these what I think they are? And sure enough, they were. They were all dated from the mid-1860s. They were letters that were written by Captain Andrew Upson. Andrew Upson was Bradley Barnes' wife's grandfather, and he was a captain in the 20th Connecticut Volunteer Infantry. And we have all of his letters. The museum staff have transcribed and scanned every one of those letters. And you can actually read those from home today. They are on our website. You can either read the transcription, or you can actually see the actual letter. And one of the letters was 20 pages long. So you
wow.
can imagine how much information that he gave. Captain Upson was a graduate of Yale University. Class of 1849. So he was well educated, and the letters are absolutely magnificent, romantic, and also, criticizing some of the generals and the wars and things like that. Some of them are quite amusing, and others will just bring you to tears.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I was reading some parts of the letters, and I just couldn't get over it. I said, "This is unbelievable."
Exactly, exactly. He was a phenomenal person. In fact, unfortunately, his company was ambushed in Tracy City, Tennessee, and he was shot 3 times. So he never did make it back home alive. But we were actually able to come across not only the letters, but we came across his wife's pension from the United States Army, and she was given $2 per children and $12 a month for a widow's pension.
Wow, isn't that something?
Yeah,
huh?
so we have the actual, document that, testifies to that.
Well, and also, having the car show here today, the antique show, I'll tell you, Mr. Barnes got to be looking down, smiling.
Oh, he is. He is. In fact, we like to think that Bradley Barnes had the first museum in Southington back in around 1890. His grandfather had a little playhouse built for him, and relatives, his grandmother and mother and people around town would give him things to put into this little house, and it turned out to be one of the first museums in town, and he was only about 12 years old when that happened. So you can see the mentality of wanting to leave this home to the town of Southington and to Connecticut. We have been visited by every town in Connecticut. Every state in the union, including Alaska and Hawaii, have been here. And also about between 46 and 49 countries have come here to visit the museum. And there hasn't been any one tour that I've given where people have not been amazed by the time they've finished touring this house.
Absolutely. You have to let us know now. When could you come here, and when's the best time to come here?
Well, we're open all year round except for major holidays, of course. We're open Monday through Friday. Tours begin at 1 until 5. And then Thursday evenings, we're here till 7. And then we're open every first and last Saturdays of the month from 1 to 5. And that would not include July and August. We're just closed in those Saturdays.
Well, I'll tell you, that's fantastic. I mean, that's a lot of time to be able to come here.
Yes, it is.
The other amazing thing that I find amazing is the Pope Harford car that he left to the AAA.
Exactly. It turns out that Bradley, as a young man, actually graduated from the horse and buggy to the automobile when it first came out, and he loved his automobiles. He had initially ordered a 1908 Pope Hartford. He loved it so much that when they were building the newer models in 1912, he decided to order it with all the bells and whistles. So because of that, that automobile that's sitting out on our driveway today on loan from AAA is the only one of its kind known to exist in the entire world.
Yeah, we did a special on that car a while back up at AAA with Mr. McPherson, and boy, it was interesting.
Well, yes, the car is magnificent, and to have it come back to its home today is certainly a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely. I have to ask you one thing. I mean, I'm into cars, you know that. I'm a car guy. I see horses all over this house. What's up with that?
Well, before the automobile were the horses. And that was their main means of transportation. The barns in the back were the stables and carriage houses. And then the automobile came around, and Bradley Barnes just, he had belonged to the National Carriage Builders of America, and then he was one of the founding members of AAA Automobile Club in Hartford. And I actually have diary entries where his wife would write about, Bradley off to West Hartford, AAA meeting tonight.
Wow, that's special. I know. I see these beautiful pictures of horses. I said, it just must have been, in his day, it must have been just outstanding.
Oh, yes, very, very much so. In fact, the paintings that you see around this room were actually painted by his wife, Leela Upson.
Oh, so Upson was he was the relative.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, Captain Upson was his wife's grandfather.
Oh, I'll tell you, I want to have everybody go to that website and read those letters. They are really special.
They are very special letters.
Now, this car show, is this going to be something they're going to do every year?
We think it might be a possibility. Yes. It was so successful today. We may not be able to get the Pope Hartford here every year, but we had some magnificent cars here today. We had another Pope Hartford from another year, and we had a beautiful 1939 Lincoln that came here today. I can't even begin to tell you how many beautiful cars we
Yeah,
have.
we did have a chance to talk to some of the people, and we even talked to a motorcycle, Indian motorcycle.
Yes, an Indian. Would you believe that? Yeah, that's awesome. I was really surprised when that showed up today.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to come back here with my wife because she's kind of a colonial fanatic, and we could spend a day in here very easily.
I could keep you here a month. There's so much to see.
Yeah, I just, everywhere I look, I mean, it's just, I can't get over it. It's like time, for going back in time, you know?
Oh, yes, definitely. That's what we try to create here. We're stepping back in time. People forget what's going on outside or in the world, and they're just blown away when they tour this house. It's an amazing house.
Now, as far as the town goes, do they have interaction with you on maintaining this?
Yes. When Bradley Barnes passed away, he stipulated that the library board of directors oversee controlling the museum because Bradley knew what he had collected and things had to be handled properly and cataloged. He also left a trust, but not nearly enough money to take care of what needs to be taken care of today, like payroll and, of course, the cost of energy and such. So the town does give us a budget, an annual budget, which we try to adhere to. But we have a group that has been put together where they're called the Friends of the Barnes Museum. And they're the ones that actually put this program on today, the car show, for a fundraiser. So if there's anything over and above my budget that I need to be taken care of, I can count on funds from the Friends of the Barnes Museum.
Now, the original estate here, how much area did it encompass?
It's just about an acre of property, yeah. And the gardens are just absolutely magnificent. When Bradley and his wife, Leela, were maintaining the house, they had marvelous gardens. In fact, this home was featured in Country Home Magazine 1922, and the editors and crew came to this house and they filmed the inside and the beautiful gardens outside in 1922, and that magazine circulated throughout the United States.
Wow,
So
isn't that special, huh?
That is.
Just a location in Southington.
Okay. And we're located right downtown in Southington, right down from our town green. We have a wonderful area, Renaissance area in the center of town. The outskirts are all booming with restaurants and such. We're just down the mile off of 84 on Route 10, go south on Route 10, and we're at 85 North Main Street.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, it's a handy location. I can't wait to come back here with my wife. I'll tell you. We'll be here a whole day solid.
I promise to keep you here too that whole day.
Well, Marie, I have to thank you for talking with us. And we're going to take a look at some other things in the house. And believe me, you just have a wonderful place here, and you do a great job, and you know the history very well.
Yes, it's a labor of love. I love this house.
I could see why. Believe me. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
I look forward to coming back.
Yes, I look forward to having you.
Thank you very much.
One of the most interesting rooms was a room called the Goblet Room, which has 500 goblets, and boy, let me tell you, this room was just spectacular. I hope everybody gets a chance to come out to this museum and see what it's all about, and boy, let me tell you, you will not be disappointed. We want to thank everybody for watching the show tonight, and please return next week to our next episode of Racing Action Today. like to thank the Race in Action Today crew, Bill Majak, and producer Larry Mangello to make this show possible. And also we want to thank Nutmeg TV for all their support. This show is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.